Good morning. Today is Yom Haatzmaut, Chag Sameach. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. Yesterday, I told you a couple of stories about my trip to Israel last year. I was in Israel for Yom HaZikaron, and I told you a little bit about that. And I was also in Israel for that night and the next day, Yom Haatzmaut. Some really amazing experiences that I had. And again, if you ever have the opportunity to be in Israel for these very special days, I urge you to do that. So there is a classic Israeli experience on Yom Haatzmaut. In addition to celebrating and the flags and the boppers and all the other things, the classic Israeli experience is a barbecue. And all over Israel, there are barbecues, some larger, some smaller, in parks, in people's homes. Obviously, this year, it will be very different, but the barbecues will still go on, though in smaller groups. But last year, I had the pleasure to be invited to a family for their barbecue. There is a family originally from Montreal, and they made Aliyah. And they live close to where my mother lives. When I go to Israel, I stay with my mother. And I had seen this gentleman, and he said to me, "Oh, Yom Haatzmaut's coming up. We're having a barbecue. You're invited to a barbecue." So I was very excited to be invited to a real Israeli barbecue on Yom Haatzmaut. So I went there in the afternoon, and it was very lovely. It was 4 or 5 families, all of whom had made Aliyah over a period of years, some more recent, some longer, almost all from North America, I think. And it was beautiful. We were eating outside. It was food was delicious. The company was wonderful. And so as part of the discussion, someone said, let's go around the table and everyone tell your best only in Israel story. And it was great. So let me tell you a couple of the stories. So there was a woman who had made Aliyah about 20 years before this. And she had just arrived, and she got on a bus, and a stranger, a woman, hands her her baby. And she says, please hold my baby while I go pay. So this woman was not used to such behavior. She thought it was kind of strange that some strange woman was leaving a strange baby in her arms. Okay, she's going to pay. She'll be right back. She's holding this baby. The mother goes up to pay, to the front, to pay the bus driver. And the mother then sees a friend sitting down, and the mother sits down next to her friend and starts talking to her friend the entire ride, and this other woman is just holding the baby. Just no concern, no worry. I just gave my baby to a stranger. I don't know. That was her only in Israel memory, which attests to this nature of being one family, which spills over into so many areas. Another woman told this story, a little bit similar, but again, a great story. So this woman had made Aliyah a number of years ago, but before she had made Aliyah, she was still living in North America. She had come to visit her daughter, who had already made Aliyah. And the daughter was pregnant, and the daughter was expecting in another 3 months. So the mother was visiting, and she was visiting. She was going to go back home, and she was going to come back when the baby was born. So she's visiting, and the mother needed shoes. So she went shopping for shoes, And she found a pair of shoes that she liked, but the sales lady says to her, I'm sorry, we don't have them in stock. We have to order them. So the woman says, no problem, because I'm leaving Israel now, but I'm coming back in 3 months. In 3 months, you'll have the shoes in, and I'll come pick them up. But the mother says, the only thing I'm a little worried about is when I'm coming back, I'm going to be rushing because my daughter's about to give birth. And depending when she calls and how the flights work, I'm worried that I might not get back to Israel in time for the birth, for the actual birth. So I'm going to be rushing. So the saleswoman, who is a complete stranger, says to her, give me your daughter's phone number. I will be her mother. When she goes into labor, I will call her. I will take her to the hospital. I will treat her like my own daughter until you arrive. And you don't have to worry about it. And then you can get your shoes when you get back. Again, this idea that everyone is really one family is very, very pervasive. So they asked me to tell my story. Now, I do not yet have an Aliyah story. With God's help, maybe in the future I will, but for now, so I did have a story to tell. So this was an only in Israel moment that I had on this trip. So I was, as I said, I was staying at my mother's house, which is in the neighborhood is called Shai Chesed in Yerushalayim. And I had taken a short walk, just a couple of blocks, and I had walked down the street, and then I had come back. Now, the truth is, I have to explain that it was a Thursday afternoon, and there was a store on this street that late Thursday afternoons, they start selling cholent. And it's very good cholent. And I wanted some cholent, but I needed to walk by the store to see if they had put it out yet, or if I would have to come back later. But so it's a small street, so I walked down the street this way, and then I stopped, and then I walked back the other way. Okay. There's a Hasidic gentleman across the street, and he's watching me. And he calls out to me, and he says, in Hebrew, he says, are you lost? Which I guess is understandable. You see a fellow walking this way and then walking back that way. He said, are you lost? So I said, thank you very much. No, I'm not lost. Thank you. And then he added the following. He said, a Jew is never lost. And then he said, a Jew is always lost. That is really the essence of what it means to be an Israeli, what it means to be a Jew. That's really the essence of the words that we read in this week's parsha, Kadoshim Tiyu, become holy, meaning we should be the kind of people who are always searching, who are always improving, who are always looking for some way to grow. We are never lost, but we are always lost, searching for holiness. I want to wish you a wonderful day. Chag Sameach. Happy Yom Haatzmaut.